Pharmacovigilance. Why pharmacovigilance? The information collected during the pre-marketing phase of a medical drug is inevitably incomplete with regard to possible adverse reactions. Tests in animals are insufficiently predictive of human safety. In clinical trials, patients are selected and limited in number, the conditions of use differ from those in clinical practice, and the duration of trials is limited. Information about rare but serious adverse reactions, chronic toxicity, use in special groups, such as children, the elderly or pregnant women, or drug interactions is often incomplete or not available. Pharmacovigilance is needed in every country, because there are differences between countries, and even regions within countries, in the occurrence of adverse drug reactions and other drug-related problems. This may be because of differences in drug production, distribution and use, for example indications, dose, availability, genetics, diet, traditions of the people, pharmaceutical quality and composition, excipients, of locally produced pharmaceutical products, the use of non-orthodox drugs, for example herbal remedies, which may pose special toxicological problems, when used alone or in combination with other drugs. Definition and aims. Pharmacovigilance is concerned with the detection, assessment and prevention of adverse reactions to drugs. Major aims of pharmacovigilance are: 1. Early detection of hitherto unknown adverse reactions and interactions. 2. Detection of increases in frequency of known adverse reactions. 3. Identification of risk factors and possible mechanisms underlying adverse reactions. 4. Estimation of quantitative aspects of benefit, risk analysis and dissemination of information needed to improve drug prescribing and regulation. Ultimate goals of pharmacovigilance: the rational and safe use of medical drugs, the assessment and communication of the risks and benefits of drugs on the market, educating and informing of patients, safety information reporting. For new drugs, report all suspected reactions, including minor ones. In many countries, drugs are still considered new up to 5 years after marketing authorization. For established or well-known drugs, report all serious or unexpected, unusual, suspected ADRs. Report if an increased frequency of a given reaction is observed. Report all suspected ADRs associated with drug food or drug food supplements, including herbal and complementary products. Interactions. Report ADRs in special fields of interest such as drug abuse and drug use. In pregnancy and during lactation. Report when suspected ADRs are associated with drug withdrawals. Report ADRs occurring from overdose or medication error. Report when there is a lack of efficacy or when suspected pharmaceutical defects are observed. Thus, report all suspected adverse reactions that you consider of clinical importance as soon as possible. Importance of detection. Signal detection or signaling represents the detection of early warning signs throughout the life cycle of medicinal products. Currently, signal detection is largely based on regular and cyclical electronic monitoring of databases, which include spontaneous reports of adverse events. This is so due to the fact that the amount of spontaneous reports is increasing dramatically, respectively, because of the intensified volume of such reports. Experts adopt practices which use electronic safety reporting methods and rely on electronic transmissions of expedited safety reports for faster and more efficient completion of work. Importance of pharmacovigilance. Pharmacovigilance is only concerned with only safety and efficiency. Adverse drug reaction. In the pre-approval of the drug's clinical experience with a fresh medicinal product or its usages, specifically, as the therapeutic dose or doses might not be established. All unintended and noxious responses to the medicinal product associated with any of the dose should be considered as the adverse drug reaction. Adverse event. An adverse event can be any unintended and unfavorable sign, including the abnormal laboratory finding, symptom or the disease temporarily related to the medicinal product's use, whether or not considered associated with the medicinal product. Benefits. Assessment of the favorable or beneficial and unfavorable outcomes of undertaking a particular course of action. The medicinal action can contribute to the final evaluation of the perks of the drugs. Causal relationship. Causal relationship or assessment is the method for assigning the probability of the causation to a suspended adverse reaction of the drug. Clinical trial. Clinical trial or study is the investigation into the human subjects that is intended with the purpose to verify or discover the pharmacological, clinical or pharmacodynamics of an investigational product, or to identify any of the adverse reactions of the investigational product. Control group. Control group or cohort studies usually identify and compare the exposed patients to the unexposed patients, or to the patients that receive different exposure from the use of the drug. Dechallenge and rechallenge. Dechallenge refers to the stopping of the drug generally after the adverse event or at the termination of the planned treatment. Rechallenge refers to the recommencement of the similar drug after its usage has been stopped, generally for adverse event. Effectiveness. The effectiveness of drugs examines the trends in the disease events over the time across the various geographical locations and then correlates them with the trends in the putative exposures, like the rates of the utilization of drug. Efficacy. Efficacy is concerned with the conduct, design, and safety and reporting of the clinical trials of the drug. It also encompasses the novel kinds of the medicines derived from the biotechnological procedures. Event. It is considered vital while testing the effect of the new drug in the market that all the events occur after its use is reported to the clinics. Harm. The drug use in the sector of pharmacovigilance is tested before launching it in the market so that the users do not suffer any harm. However, if the users experience any, they should stop its usage and report to the clinic. Implied casualty. Implied casualty refers to the spontaneously reported adverse event cases where the casualty is always presumed to in positive sense unless the reports of the event states otherwise. Individual case study report. Individual case study report in pharmacovigilance is part of the adverse event reporting. It includes serious as well as unlisted events that are considered associated with the use of the drug by the individual. Life-threatening. Life-threatening refers to the adverse event that places the patient at the instant risk of death due to the usage of the new drug. Phase. The drugs introduced by the company are tested on the humans on the basis of the phases or level, where the effect of the drug is examined after its intake the patient. Signal. Signal detection or SD includes a range of many techniques to detect the drug effects. Temporal relationship. Temporal relationship is defined as the abnormal renal or hepatic function test based on the date that they are initially detected on the patients. Triage. Triage in pharmacovigilance refers to the chronological order in which the drug treatment,